We are with Corporal Shank, and Shank, you had quite an experience, quite an injury. You were showing me the picture yesterday of the IED that hit your vehicle and the hole it left in the concrete. Literally, it's like a swimming pool in the concrete, how big that was. And it's amazing, you came out walking, you almost didn't.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the specific vehicle we were in, we'd probably been dead or close to it. It's the new MATVs that's pretty much all they drive.
It's almost
that
as big
or
as a
something
tank.
bigger. It's huge. It's like at least twice the size of a armored Humvee.
Wow, wow. So what's it like being in a vehicle that hits an IED? Like, what, do you remember anything?
Well, I was knocked out right away, probably for a couple minutes, and then when I woke up, it's kind of like you would picture in a movie. Just I was yelling, like involuntarily, just yelling, and then once I kind of came to and realized what was happening, I couldn't breathe right then. Luckily, it was just the wind knocked out of me really bad. But once I could, I was, made sure I had all my arms and legs, and looked over to the guy riding shotgun, the vehicle commander, and he was not there. The door was open, and there was a, big splotch of blood right on the windshield. So that was probably, the scariest point, that and not being able to breathe at that time. And then once I could, I knew my back was really messed up, but I knew I was gonna be fine.
That's what I hear a lot. A lot of people who go through an explosion, like the very first minute they open their eyes, you literally cannot breathe, and your brain knows you need to breathe, but it just doesn't happen.
Yep.
And that's probably the scariest.
Yep.
When you think
It's
you're gonna die, right?
Really getting the wind knocked out of you really bad.
Right.
The worst that I've ever felt like that. But it seemed like it took forever, but it came right back pretty much. And then, they called in the medevac helicopter. When the guy that was missing came back, he, had blood all over his face and dirt, running around, calling in the helicopter and all that. And I asked him, he's like, yeah, I already took care of that. So I guess I was probably out for a couple minutes at most. But
So you were probably centimeters away from not ever being able to walk again. You fractured your back, and those fragments were centimeters from the spinal cord.
yeah, I fractured 5 vertebrae in my back. The T11 was the worst. They said it, was pretty much, they called it a burst fracture, and just compressed so hard that it just kind of burst. I doubt pieces like went everywhere, but it was like destroyed. It lost half of its height, and then I fractured 4 other ones too. But
So, what was the process like trying to get help? Was it tough going through the system and getting help and getting appointments?
it was when I first retired out I went back to my unit, and then ended up going to Wounded Warrior Battalion, which that makes it a lot better, because they're putting people through that process all the time. Amputees and back injuries and PTSD and all that. So they know, they got their list. You need to see this person, go here. So I pretty much just did what I was told, but other than that, other than what they tell you, there's not that I know of any book on, hey, when you're medically retiring, this is what you should look at. When I first got out, even though I did go through Wounded Warrior Battalion, you get retirement pay if you're at a certain percentage disabled, which I got, but you're also supposed to get, compensation for having dependents and a wife, because I had a daughter, and I was married at the time, and I was being rated as just being single. So you'd think that would be something that they would already know. Maybe they did. I don't know how it fell through the cracks, but I know I talked to other wounded warriors in that battalion, and the same thing happened to them. But just stuff like that, getting it ironed out, took quite a while.
So the Wounded Warrior Battalion is when it's within the military, where if someone gets injured, they go into the Wounded Warrior Battalion. But
yes, it's
kind of a bureaucratic process at times.
Yep, it's pretty much its own, battalion or company. I think there's 2 companies in it on Camp Lejeune, but it's basically the guys that are injured. They go there. They just updated their facilities, and they have like a nice gym and everything like that. It's a good setup, and they have not caregivers, but
like medical providers.
Yeah, and basically somebody that's on your team that is gonna make sure you hit everything on that list, and
like a primary care.
Recovery care coordinator is what they call it, and they really help you stay on track and go through the process. And like I said, they have a gym there, so they try and make sure you're going. There's a lot of appointments and things, but there's enough time to squeeze in some physical activity and things like that.
So is there any message you have for people out there who are looking to help injured veterans, how they can help you? I know, there's this process you got to go through in the military. There's organizations like the Battle Continues where you can get help from externally. And then there's someone out there who wants to help. What can they do?
Well, I would probably say to find maybe a good organization like that. The Battle Continues. We're here now at, Show of Support, Hunt for Heroes, and it's just incredible. But obviously, they do a lot for us. Give us shirts, boots, all this stuff, and I'm sure it takes a lot of money and time, people doing the legwork and behind the scenes putting it together. Or like Semper Fi Fund, when I was in Wounded Warrior Battalion, helped us out, keeping track of our appointments and things like that. They actually give us like an iPad, help set reminders and go here or there, take your pills, just stuff like that. It helped, and it's also really nice getting something like that, and you can tell the people care. So I would probably say just chip in or volunteer or whatever to something good that's already existing.
It's a good message, and thanks for your service and everything you've done.
And the Battle Continues. They help us move forward and give you someone to talk to and kind of point you in the right direction and help you with whatever you need.
Yeah, and thanks for your service.
The battle continues.